Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited to be filming one of my favorite videos, and that is new releases for cozy mysteries. These are all cozy mysteries that are going to be released in March 2024, and we have at least 5 or 6 new cozy mystery series on the list, which I'm really excited about, as well as some super unique topics, like even a ceramic shop cozy. So let's stay tuned. Let's hop into our first book. So our first book is from a series I'm actually personally reading and I'm caught up on and I really enjoy, so I'm very excited for this one. It's called A Midnight Puzzle, a Secret Staircase novel. This is book 3 in the series, written by Gigi Pandian, and this is coming out on March 19th, 2024. And our main character in this is Tempest Raj, and she is basically like an ex-magician from like Vegas. Like, she did big stage shows, but after some drama with the magic acts and stuff, she moved back home and she's working with her family on their family business, which is a secret staircase construction business. And basically, they make hidden doors, floating staircases, puzzle walls, all these cool things, and the business is actually under attack when a former client, Julian Rhodes, tries to kill his wife, and he blamed her accident on the home renovation company's craftsmanship. Now, the family's business is at a breaking point. It's really, really concerning, and no amount of Scottish and Indian foods from her grandfather can distract Tempest from this awful truth that they are being framed. So when Tempest receives an urgent midnight phone call from Julian, she decides to meet him at the historic Whispering Creek Theater, only to find his dead body, a sword through his chest. After a blade appears from thin air to claim another victim, Tempest is certain they're dealing with a booby trap, something secret staircase construction could easily build. But she refuses to wait for the investigation just to turn to her and her loved ones, so she decides to put the pieces of the puzzle together before another disaster strikes. And she's really well known, the author, for her locked room mysteries. They've been so good. I loved book 1, but book 2, The Raven Thief, was fabulous. A 5-star read for me, so I'm so excited for this book. I cannot wait. So this next one is the ceramic shop mystery I was mentioning. It's a brand new cozy mystery series, and it's coming out on March 12th, 2024 by Donna, Clancy, and this is going to be part of the Braddock mystery series, book 1, like I said. I adore the premise for this. Our main character is Tammy, and she's actually a best-selling mystery author, but she's going home to her aunt's for a while to help out with her aunt's ceramic shop because it's tourist season and it's super busy. So she is there, and she learns that her aunt, along with some of the other small business owners in the area, are being pressured by these nasty realtors to sell their land so they can like put up a big housing development or something, and they're being very vicious. It's not a nice negotiation or offer. It's not nice. Well, Tammy ends up stumbling upon a body, and then her aunt ends up disappearing after she refuses to give in to the 2 realtors. So now Tammy's got several mysteries on her hand. She's trying to solve the mystery of the body, and she's trying to find out where her aunt is. So she turns to one of her old schoolmates, who is now a cop, and the 2 of them are putting on their sleuthing hats, and Tammy is stepping away from the computer screen and out into the real world of mystery solving. Tell me that doesn't sound amazing. Wow. Everything about that sounds so good. I hope my library gets it, or I'm gonna have to get my hands on it somehow. It sounds so, so good. Let me know your thoughts. This next one is another new cozy mystery series, and it takes place in a mountainous area, and it is called Resort to Murder, a Northwoods mystery. It's book 1 in the series, written by McEwen, and this is coming out on March 26, 2024. And our main character in this is Emmy Cooper, and she lives in Chicago, but her life ends up turning upside down, as many of our cozy mystery sleuths do. So she decides to go back to her family's lake cottage in the beautiful Wisconsin Northwoods for a much needed break. She's actually an interior designer, so she starts to really appreciate the slower pace here. She's reconnecting with her best friend Whitney, the family, the dogs. Everything's going really well. Unfortunately, her homecoming isn't as calm as she hoped when Emmy finds out a ruthless development company is pressuring Lake Covington property owners, including her own family, to sell their land so they can build an extravagant modern resort that would ruin the beautiful aesthetic of the area. Things only get worse when Emmy finds the dead body of one of the developers floating in the lake, murdered. So the police get involved, and Emmy's father was actually in a big fight with the shady development person, and he's actually painted as the prime suspect. So now Emmy's got to prove her father's innocence, save the reputation of Cooper's Cove, and find out who would resort to murder. Love that tie-in. So amazing. I cannot wait for this. I love it. She's an interior designer, Wisconsin, the woods, Everything about this sounds amazing, and how cozy and beautiful is the cover. Next we have Rhythm and Clues, which is part of the Record Shop Mysteries by Olivia Blacke. This is book 3 in the series, and it will be coming out on the 26th. So our main character in this is Junie, and Junie and her 2 sisters run a record shop that's also like part coffee shop, so it's a very cozy little nook, and they have a beautiful cat, as you can see on the cover there, but they are in trouble, or rather their business is in trouble. They are receiving a lot of pressure from these shady financial investors who invested in their business. They're not returning the profits that they want to be doing. And one night they have a meeting with one of these financial investors, and he is later found, he or she actually, I'm not sure. The investor is later found dead outside in this torrential rainstorm. And it's not looking so good for the sisters and some of his other enemies. And Junie is actually shocked when the detective on the case, who she's had some run-ins with before, asks for her help. Which is shocked. Like, that, she never expected that to happen. Didn't see it coming. So they are now trying to catch the killer before they strike again. I love the idea of like a vinyl record shop. I think that's so unique, so fun. I just picked up book 1 in this series and I can't wait to try it. If you're looking for a nice English countryside mystery, this one sounds really delightful. It's called A Deadly Walk in Devon, a walk through England mystery. It is book 1 in a new mystery series. Our main character is a retired San Diego police detective, and it's coming out on March 26, 2024. Okay, so our main character in this is Chase. He is a past San Diego detective, and he has moved out to the English countryside for some reprieve, and he is meeting up with a friend, and they're actually going to go on this beautiful like seaside tour. They're very, very excited, and on the tour one of the other tour members is quite abrasive. His name is Gretz, and he's like, I think, a very wealthy man, like maybe a business guy. And he is butting heads with everybody. It's not going well. And he also has some mysterious accidents. And he asks Chase to watch his back, basically. But soon after this, he is actually found dead at the end, like the bottom of a cliff. So Chase knows it was probably someone there. And as he looks into the other tour members and their possible motives, he discovers that they all pretty much had one. They were all suspects in one way or another. And he knows that this was no accident. And he's determined to find out who did it and why. Love it. I love the setting for this. It sounds very cozy, very charming. This next one I'm personally super excited for because I love cozy mysteries in a little bit more of a unique area, especially like the Southwest US. I actually live in the Southwest myself, so I always find it fun to read it with areas I'm a little more familiar with. And this one is called Dying to Dance, Cha-Cha-Ahhh, a Tucson Valley retirement community cozy mystery. It's book 5 in the series, written by Marcy, Blesy. And this one is coming out on March 30th, 2024. And the author was actually kind enough to send me the first book in this series, which I haven't got to read yet, but I'm very excited. I feel like it's gonna be a good like spring or summer one with the warm Tucson weather. And how cute is the cover? So getting into the description, here is what this one is all about. We basically have the Tucson Valley retirement community, and things are booming there. Rosie and her team at the senior center are really excited to be chosen as the location for the Southwest Arizona Senior Dancing with the Stars competition, where one female and one male resident will be chosen to compete at the state level. Unfortunately, things are never simple, so when the professional dancers arrive in Tucson Valley to meet their senior partners, nerves are rattled and jealousy rages, leading to a very unfortunate ending for one unlucky dancer, which may derail the entire improved status of this retirement community and all the progress they've made. Rosie is once again forced into an investigative role, and she's got to make things right. So with the support of her boyfriend and the never-boring antics of her golden retriever Barley, Rosie just might be able to save the day before the drama dances away. I love so many things about this. The cool setting, amazing. I think the idea of a retirement community being like kind of the center of everything is great because I personally love cozies that really highlight and feature older characters, like especially because they just have so much wisdom and wit, and they're just so much fun. So I am so excited to get into this series. Next, coming out on March 26th, it's called How to Solve Your Own Murder, a novel, and this is book 1 in the Castle Knoll files. It's written by Kristen, Perrin, and again this is coming out on the 26th. It's a most anticipated by Barnes & Noble, Goodreads, Book Riot, and a ton of others. And recommended for fans of Knives Out and the Thursday Murder Club. I actually love the movie Knives Out, so I'm really excited for this one personally. Okay, I love so much about this. So this one takes place in 1965. Our main character is starting off a teenager named Frances, and one night she's going to like a fair with her friends, and she sees a fortune teller. You know, not thinking much of it. Well, the fortune teller tells her that one day she's gonna be murdered. This is exactly why I couldn't go to a fortune teller. I wouldn't be able to handle it. Even if I didn't believe it, I would just, I'd ruminate. But basically, she ends up becoming obsessed with catching the killer before they can murder her. So her entire life she spends collecting information about those around her, watching her back, and fast forward into the future, she now has a great niece named Annie, and Annie is coming out to some kind of event at Francis's estate, but by the time she arrives, her great aunt is dead and has been murdered, just like the fortune teller said. So now Annie is determined to find out who killed her great aunt, and fortunately Frances has kept very detailed notes from her years of trying to solve her murder before it happened. So Annie's got all this stuff to like dig up on it, and it also seems like she had a lot of dirt on a lot of the villagers, so a lot of people might have had a motive to take her out, unfortunately. This one is such a cool concept. I really love the idea. I mean, it's very sad, of course, for Frances, but it's very interesting. Like, just the way that she would have spent her life trying to watch her back, the notes she must have. I'm very curious about this one. Oh, so this next one is a historical one. It's a 1920s Mayfair murder mystery. This is called Murder in a Mayfair Flat, a Pippa Darling Mysteries, book 3 in the series, written by Jenna Bennett, and this is coming out on March 5th. So this takes place in June 1926 in London. Our main character is Pippa or Philippa, and one of her friends or like acquaintances is somebody, Christopher, who actually goes to these covert drag balls, and he has escaped by the skin of his teeth a few times with police raids. So they keep moving the location and the date and everything because of course this would have been a very frowned upon practice at the time. So one night Christopher and his cousin Pippa are in his flat when this count, who's also related to them by some way here, bursts into the place and announces like some kind of party. They go to the party, but then at the party a tabloid reporter is murdered. And they are now trying to escape, keep their secrets, and keep the count especially out of it because the press would have like an absolute field day with that. So that's kind of the general premise for this one. Very beautiful cover. I love like a really detailed illustration of a person. Like, that's so pretty. This next one's coming out on March 12th, and it's one of my most anticipated releases for the first part of the year. I'll link the Cozy Mystery most anticipated release video above if you want to check the rest of it out. But this one is called In Sunshine or in Shadow, a Molly Murphy mystery written by Rhys Bowen and Claire Broyles. So it is New York, 1908, and Molly is an Irish-American immigrant. She is now set, we're years into her story at this point, and she has settled down, she's married, and she's actually expecting a child. And unfortunately in the city, typhoid it's like going around, and that's a really, really dangerous disease, especially for someone who's expecting. So she is sent out to the Catskills to stay with her mother-in-law, which she's not super thrilled about because they've had kind of a on and off again relationship, but she goes out there with the children, and she's relieved to find out that her friends Sid and Gus are also heading out there to visit Sid's folks. And while she's out there, she gets an invitation to hang out with them in the artist community, which she's very excited for. So she goes over there, things are going great until a body appears, and she is experiencing a bit of a delay getting back to the city now. Sounds very fun, very summery, very cozy. I really enjoy this series. If you like historical fiction, I think you will too. Molly is a really great, spunky, fiery, amazing character who really speaks her mind, and I love it. This next one I'm so excited for. It's Murder in the Tea Leaves, a tea shop mystery by Laura Childs. It's book 27 in the series, and it's coming out on the 5th. And I just read book 1 in the Tea Shop Mystery series and adored it, so I am now like ready to binge this series, so I cannot wait for this. And how gorgeous is the cover? Come on. Our main character is Theodosia Browning, and she is helping with the set of this movie, Dark Fortunes. When things go from spooky to worse, the lights are dimmed, the camera rolls, and red hot sparks fly as the film's director is murdered in a tricky electrical accident. But was it really an accident? The cast and crew are completely stunned, and nobody is admitting to seeing anything that was suspicious. But Theodosia's friend Delane becomes the prime suspect, and so she begins her own investigation to clear her friend's name. So who among this Hollywood cast and crew had murder on their mind? The leading actress is trying to wiggle out of her contract, the brand new director seems indifferent, and nobody trusts the slippery when dry Hollywood agent. So there's a lot of suspects. And on top of all this, Theodosia is trying to host a breakfast at Tiffany's Tea, a poetry tree, and trying to launch her own chocolate line. So, you know, why not add throwing in solving a murder there? She's clearly not busy at all. And she is now trying to explore the haunted Brittle Bank Manor where the murder took place. And just when things are kind of like when she's ready to pounce, someone else is murdered. And this clever killer is really doing a great job hiding their misdeeds, as Theodosia soon finds out when she and her Sommelier Drayton get caught up in a dangerous stakeout. I'm very excited for this. Theodosia is an absolute gem of a character, so I can't wait for to continue getting into the series, and I know it's a favorite with many of you. Next we have one by Nancy Coco. It's called 3 Fudges and a Baby, a candy-coated mystery, and I am so excited. This one comes out on March 26, 2024. So this one is a very interesting mystery because we not only have the high stakes of a murderer out there, but we have the high stakes of someone who is about to give birth. So basically our main character Allie, her best friend Jen, is about to give birth and she's very excited. However, she is 2 months past the expected due date and she is just getting sick of being told she looks like she's gonna pop. She's not excited. I could see why. That would be just awful, having to like, I don't know, wait around for something to happen. Does not seem like a fun time. However, things take a turn for the worse when her doula, because they're on an island, so she has a midwife and a doula lined up because she wants to give birth on the island. She finds her doula standing over her fiance's body with a gun. But the doula insists that she didn't shoot him. So now Allie is trying to solve this because Jen is begging her to solve it before it's time for her to give birth because she needs them to clear the doula, and there's just a whole lot going on. So I mean, talk about high stakes and a very fun, like kind of springy, cozy, because I feel like we kind of associate like babies with spring and summer, just newborns, I don't know, something like that. This next one is a series I've been dying to start. Let me know if you like it. It's a Veronica Speedwell mystery, and this one is called A Grave Robbery. It is book 9 in the series, written by Deanna Raybourn, and this is coming out on March 12th. So basically this lord has purchased this beautiful wax figure of a young woman, and he wants Stoker to go ahead and like insert like a clockwork device into the wax figure, but Stoker is absolutely horrified to find out that when he cuts into the wax figure, it's actually a well-preserved body of a young woman, which is obviously disturbing, dreadful, like how did this happen? So him and Veronica start to go on a quest to figure out who exactly this is, who killed them, who preserved their body, what exactly happened, and they are going to go to some dark places in London. They are going to be going like in the underground world where people are trying to revive the dead with electricity, like a la Frankenstein, and they find out that the killer is always one step ahead of them and also on a quest to find his love again. Very interesting premise. I really want to read this series. It just looks and sounds amazing, and I've heard some really great things about it. This next one is another one I'm just about to start. I just picked up book 1 from the series from my library, and this is by LoTempio. It's called Cats, Carats, and Killers, an Urban Tales Pet Shop Mystery. It's book 4 in the series, and this one's coming out on the 19th. So our main character in this is a pet shop owner named Shell McMillan, and she is so excited to see everyone in Fox Hollow coming to the local animal shelter's fundraiser where they can get old keepsakes, collectibles of praise, and maybe even sell them for a tidy sum. But the event has drawn some shady characters as well, including Pete Martin, who seems determined to get his hands on a beat-up old jewelry box at any cost. When he is found murdered, Shell has to go from fundraising to finding a killer. And it doesn't take long for Shell to figure out that the jewelry box had diamonds from a long ago heist, and that Martin wasn't the only one trying to get his hands on the stash. But to figure out who wanted him dead, she'll have to uncover who was behind the original heist, and who knows where the rest of the gems are hidden. And she's got to find these missing stones and the killer before something tragic happens to her. I love the idea this is a pet shop owner. Again, a really unique theme, one that I don't see very often, and as a pet lover, I'm so excited for this. This next one has the best title. It's called The Witless Protection Program. It's a catering hall mystery. It's the 5th book in the series, written by Maria Di Rico, and this is coming out on March 26, 2024. So our main character, Mia, is an Italian-American, and she's a very strong, feisty, independent woman and entrepreneur, which I love, and she and her family have like a catering hall together, and she never thought that as a very strong, independent woman she'd really be pining for a marriage proposal, but she's waiting, she's hoping, and then she goes to this wedding expo to cater, and she actually runs into the man who almost destroyed her life. But the funny thing is, here's the twist, he's supposed to be dead, and if he's not dead, that means she's still married. So she gets a hold of her family and the family, and because she's like, okay, we need some solutions, we need some answers, what is going on? And she finds out that not only was this guy still alive, but other people are after him and don't want him alive either. So she gets involved in this case. Sounds like a really interesting premise. As somebody who is part Italian American. I'm really excited to try this series out someday. I love it. Oh, it sounds so good. It sounds delicious. The next one is called Hole in One, a Piper Harris mystery. It's book 5 in the series, written by Deanna Ray, and this is coming out March 1st. Unfortunately, there's no description that I could find yet for the book, so I really have nothing to show you other than the title, and this is book 5 in the series, but I wanted to include it real quick in case you are a fan of the series. We have another new series. I know, I told you guys. This one is a board game themed mystery series, and it's called This Way to Murder, the Board Game Cafe Mysteries, book 1 in the series, and it's coming out on March 1st. So Remy is our main character, and she is co-hosting a letterboxing event, which I don't know that much about. It sounds cool though. When she finds out that her friend is actually being stalked, which kind of throws a wrench in things. And on top of that, Remy has inherited this large stone manor, which I'm assuming is the house on the cover here, and she's actually planning to turn it into like a board game themed B&B, like a bed and breakfast, which I think is such a cool concept. But can she solve the mystery of all the weird messages that her friend is receiving, plan the opening of this, and then deal with the dead body she finds? Who knows? We're gonna find out in this book, but how cool is the theme for this? I love it. And then last but not least, this one's a little bit darker, but as far as I could tell, it's still a cozy mystery, and this is a genealogy mystery, book 1 in the series, another new series, by L. Condike, and this is called The Desk from Hoboken, and it comes out on March 5th. And this is such an interesting premise. Our main character is Jean, and she's a forensic genealogist. So she's taken on this case that should be straightforward. It's basically this young woman who was murdered many, many years ago. So she was mysteriously murdered in 1841 near a college campus, and her remains were supposed to be in the cemetery, but they were believed to have been washed away. And the interesting thing is that her death actually inspired an Edgar Allan Poe poem. Jean ends up following the clues for this person's death through 4 states. She's taking DNA from some of these prestigious families in New England. She is trying to solve this mystery, which should have been like a much simpler case, but she finds out that there are still people out there who do not want this case solved for one reason or another, and now her and her family's lives are in danger. Sounds pretty intense, but I thought this was such a cool premise, I wanted to include it. That is everything from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these new releases. Please let me know, what are the top 3 that you are most excited for? I'm going to leave mine in the comments down below as well, even though it's really hard because there's so many good ones. And thank you for watching. If you are not subscribed, please do hit subscribe. I do post new videos every week on this channel, all within the mystery genre. So if you like anything from cozy mysteries, murder mysteries, to like thrillers, anything with a mystery bent, you'll find it here. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!